Hey guys, Momentaijankguy here today, bringing you a different type of video. It's the first one I'm going to be doing of this. It's sort of going to be like how to play Malomyotismon, because I feel like some players don't understand how the interaction works, and like the things is like which goes off first, what goes off first. One thing to know is like if you're a turn player, usually your effects will go off first, unless the opponent has like a interrupting effect. But yeah, so anywho, let's get started on this. So one of the interactions, I'll move my mouse out of the way. One of the interactions I wanted to do first is the newest one, which is going to be the new Arcanimon and Mummymon that work with these two cards. Arcanimon Mummymon is a 4-cost Tamer. So during your turn, when Arcanimon or Mummymon would be played from your hand, by deleting this Tamer, you can reduce the cost by 3. So they both cost 6. So essentially, they're rookies essentially. And then the on deletion for the Tamer is you may play one level 5 or lower Digimon card with Myotismon and its text from your trash without paying the cost. And then at the end of the opponent's turn, you delete it. So the first thing to note is that when you play either one of them, and then by deleting the Tamer, this effect goes off for 2, the on play and the on deletion, since they both trigger at the same time. And because another important thing to know is that since they're 2 separate effects at your turn and the on deletion, that you can choose which order they go in. So let's put that there. And so you play this and then you play that. This goes to the trash, sorry. You can choose to activate which one you want to go off first. So let's say you have nothing in your trash for the effect, and let's say you want to do Mummymon. So Mummymon, you can draw 2 cards, and then trash 2 cards in your hand. Let's say you trash Myotismon, and you trash let's say one of the Yu-Gi-Oh Tamers. So gets deleted. This resolves. Then you can kick in the effect for the 4-cost Tamer, which is playing a level 5 or lower Digimon that has Myotismon in its text. You can then play your target card, and then do this on play to like bring back a Tamer or a level 3 purple Digimon. So that's the first one, and the same way goes for the Arcanimon. Arcanimon, let's say you have the in there and you don't have the Mummymon in your hand. When you play this, they both go on the pending effect. This gets deleted. On play, on deletion, you can do the on play first. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. That's too many cards. Pick 2 purple cards from among them, trash them, and then you're putting a target in there already, which is going to be the Myotismon or any level 5 essentially, any of the another Arcanimon or a Mummymon, and then you just play out the resolve card and then like continue the on play effect after that. So yeah, that's one thing to know is that that's really nice about the deck is that the Mummymon and the that's a horrible glare. The Mummymon and the Arcanimon both filter the trash, so that way this card essentially can never miss when it gets deleted, which is super nice. And now we're gonna go on to another thing. I feel like it's more of a complicated, not complicated, but timing wise. I moved the 3-cost Tamer. Another thing too, just because the wording on the Mummymon and the Arcanimon are a little weird. So let's read them because they both say the same effect word for word. On deletion, from your trash and without paying the cost, you may play 1 Tamer card with Myotismon in its text and without the same name as any of your Tamers. So saying it says the exact same thing from your trash. So when it says same name as your Tamer, that means it's essentially checking your field. So let's say you have, all right, let's do this. So let's say it's the end of the opponent's turn, and you brought this back out with something else, and you already had this on the field. So it gets deleted because it was played off the Tamer. Gets deleted. The on deletion for the Mummymon or Arcanimon triggers. And so it's essentially, it's checking 2 areas. It's checking your trash and it's checking your field to make sure that you don't have a Tamer that's already on the field with the same name. So let's say you have this already on the field and you have multiples of this Tamer on the field. the Momentaijankguy cannot play it because the one you have on the field is already the same one you have in your trash. So a very easy way to think about it is, if you have a Tamer in your trash that's already that's already on the field, on deletion cannot play it. So if you have this and this, you can't play that. But where is it? There it is. And also, I do apologize if this video is a bit gimmicky. This is my first time doing this type of video, and so vice versa for this. So let's say on deletion, this is already on the field, and your opponent has one on the field. I mean, your opponent, and you already have this on the field, and you have one in your trash. You cannot play a second copy of the same one. You have to play the opposites, basically, vice versa. And now we're going to go into the next interaction, which is going to be the miss barrier. So miss barrier is a option, forecast option. Has a main. By deleting one of your Digimon, you may play one Myotismon from your trash without paying the cost. And then you place this card into your battle area. So this one card can literally like combo into a bunch of other stuff. Like, so for example, let's say you have a Mummymon on the field. Mummymon or Arcanimon, you can play this, delete this. So let's say that's your Tamer on the field. You can play this, and then the effect of the miss barrier can be, has to play out the Myotismon. Then Myotismon skill can play another Tamer, which is already bringing out 2 dings onto the field just from this one card alone. And then the additional effect is, when one of your Myotismon is deleted, you may play one Venom Myotismon from your trash without paying the cost. So a very cool thing you can do too is, so let's say the Myotismon is in the trash. You play the Arcanimon, you delete this, you bring out, so you do the on-play for the Arcani, trash 2 cards from the top 5. You can play out this, play out the Tamer again, make sure the Tamer basically just stays on the field. And let's say it survives these, because the opponent's like, oh, I don't have to kill it because it's going to die by itself. So at the end of the opponent's turn, it's going to get deleted because of the Tamer. You can this will get deleted. This will then trigger because it's just as when a Myotismon is deleted, and then afterwards you can play a level 6 from your not level 6, not this one, a Venom Myotis from your trash. And then do any other effect. So that one card basically, so this essentially forces it to trigger, because sometimes the opponent does not want to blow up the Myotismon because they don't want to give you a level 6 for free. That's a blocker and deletes a level 5 or lower from on play, on deletion, or when digivolving, because this card is very good, and it is a 12k blocker, which is pretty wild. So that's one of the interactions you can do. And I think maybe the last one, but I want to say no, is going to be the interaction with this Tamer and this and the Myotismon. So let's say this is in trash. You play this for 3, delete, play this, and then let's say this brings back another Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, let's say you don't want to bring back the same Tamer, because let's say you have 2 Malomyotismons in your trash. Actually, bring out the other one instead. Usually that's what you want to do, is you want to try to keep looping the Tamers back and forth, because sometimes if you get stuck with 2 and you want to have the other opposite one in the trash, you can't bring out the Tamers anymore. So let's say this is going to sound very weird. Okay, so let's say both of them were played off the effect of the Tamer, because the Tamer is not once per turn. It's just when it gets deleted, it is that. So let's say you only have one on the field, because you played one for do this, and then you did this, and this brought up this. So it's the end of the opponent's turn. So at the end of the turn, this will get deleted. You can tap Yu-Gi-Oh! To gain a memory, deleting it to play out the Malomyotis from the trash. And in doing so, you can trigger the Mist Barrier. And then the Mist Barrier is going to play the Myotismon. From the trash. And then the Arcanimon. Let's say you play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's being deleted. And so usually, like whenever the Myotismon gets deleted, the overflow of 3 usually continues their turn. So let's say for an example, it pushes them back to their turn, and their end of turn already started, and this doesn't say once per turn. And so let's say they delete one of your other bodies, because this is when a Myotismon and its name is deleted, you can tap it again in memory. So let's say they deleted this. So let's say you block something really big and you delete it to trigger this. It's the end of the turn again. You can then again blow up the Yu-Gi-Oh! And play out another Malomyotismon from the trash. Essentially because they have their end of turn twice. Because it's their end of their turn, and then with the overflow, it pushes it back to their main phase, keeping their turn as long as like they didn't give you like a gajillion memory to force it to your turn, regardless even if you overflowed. So that's another thing too. Remember the end of turn, it triggers multiple. It can trigger multiple times because the end of turn on this card is not once per turn. So that's one of the interactions. Another interaction you can do is, I believe this is the last one that I can think of from the top of my head, is if you already have a Mist Barrier on the field and you play another Mist Barrier. So if you guys already seen it, well, I've already said like there's like sort of plays like Secon, in a sense where you don't really care how much memory you give them, because the drawback for them, the opponent, is that sure they're getting a lot of memory, but you're getting a level 6 body on the field and they have to deal with it. So let's say, again, remember this is like the key combo of the deck. You play this, delete this. This brings out a Malomyotismon from the trash, and you bring out this. And so, and let's say the Mist Barrier was already on the field. So the one Mist Barrier was already on the field. You can then choose to delete the Malomyotismon. They're going to get 4 memory, essentially. You're giving them 7 memory off of this combo. You can delete that. You can delete that. These will go to your delay area. You have to resolve this first. You can then replay the same Myotismon, and then bring back, let's say, another Tamer. And then this will trigger this Mist Barrier to put back the Myotismon. Because the Mist Barrier does not say when one of your Myotismon is deleted by an opponent's effect or anything. It just says when it's deleted, you can trigger the delay. Which is very nice. At the cost of you giving them a lot of memory. And then another interaction that I want to say is going to be with the level 6. If I can find it. There we go. I don't know why I keep moving them. Let me zoom this in a little bit. That way you guys can see. Sorry about that. All right. So the Malomyotismon level 6 is it's in my opinion, it's very, very strong. So when digivolving or when attacking, by deleting one of your Digimon or Tamers, you can delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. If the effect did not delete a Digimon, you can then delete one of their Tamers instead, and that doesn't matter if it's suspended or unsuspended. And then all turns, when an effect deletes one of your Digimon or Tamers, you can trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So what's nice about that is if you have multiple of these out, like vice versa, it's going to trigger multiple times, the alternates. Just because it doesn't care what gets deleted, as long as it's another Digimon. So let's say you have 3 on the field, and they delete 1. The alternate won't on this one trigger, but these two will. Same thing with the other ones. They delete this, alternate, they'll trash 2 cards. And so let's say you're going to swing at security, and you're going to delete one of the Malomyotismons. You're still only going to trash 2. Because you're trashing 1 from his skill and 1 from his skill. Because this one it could assist other, so you cannot like blow up itself. And so another nice thing to know too is that it's not hard to get a lot of level 6s on the field, because since in this version of the deck you don't play any level 4s, it's just like it's just trying to be straight gas. And so let's say you have a Tamer on the field, and you swing at security. You trash this, you delete this to delete one of their Digimon or one of their Tamers. This doesn't care what gets deleted, one of your Digimon or your Tamers. It doesn't care about your opponent's field. Because even if your opponent doesn't have a field, you can still do the effect. Because his reason why is because by deleting one of your Digimon or Tamers, delete one of your opponent's unsuspected Digimon. And then it says if this effect didn't delete an opponent's Digimon, you can delete one of their Tamers. You have to delete one of their Tamers. So the fact that it has that secondary effect that says like, oh hey, if you didn't kill anything on the field, you can then pop a Tamer, that you will still get the entire effect to trash the security. So you can swing, delete your 1 Tamer, this triggers all 3 of them. They'll trash 3 cards in their security, and then you swing for like 1 check. Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. This sort of how to play Myotismon, just because the interactions, whenever I play this deck like on my locals, or basically on my locals, they're like, oh, how did you play the level 5 off the Tamer, and how did the Tamer come back and stuff? And it just got me thinking. I'm like, this deck, with it being jank, is in my opinion difficult to play, because it is the only deck that plays like this. And it took me like a few games to quite understand like how to loop properly. Even then I still messed up the loop. But I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know what you guys think in the comment.